Hey everyone, welcome back to another UTS Student Hats podcast with Kelly
and Rachel. It's week 5 already, and it feels like I'm behind on 8 weeks worth of content, and sometimes I am so focused on studying and getting things done for uni that I forget to do other important things. Things such as preparing and eating food.
One thing Rachel and I have noticed that some of us really do forget about breakfast and its importance. That's why we'll be talking about how we do breakfast and how we incorporate healthy foods during a busy day.
Warning, you might get really hungry during this episode, so grab a snack and settle in.
If there is any meal of the day I cannot pass, that will be breakfast. For those coffee drinkers out there, breakfast to me would be the equivalent to your coffee. It helps me function like a normal human being, making coherent sentences and being able to try to understand the content of the lecture. What about you, Rachel?
I personally have only started to eat breakfast recently. Not that I have anything against it, I just find myself with little to no time in the morning. I realize though that I end up not having much energy, and so I can't really focus on tasks till later in the afternoon when it's time for lunch. This has changed tremendously after I started introducing breakfast to my daily routine. I realized I didn't need to have something really fancy like one of those buffets in the Harry Potter movies. It can be anything. What would be your go-to, Kelly?
Wouldn't we all love a breakfast buffet just like those at Hogwarts? Sadly, my go-to breakfast can be described as basic at best, and that is cereal. Regardless of whether you're a cereal milk or milk cereal person, having cereal for breakfast is so easy to make. Other than cereal, I could have some toast with strawberry jam or peanut butter. If I have extra time, might cut up some fruit or cook some eggs.
That sounds really nice. I also eat something light for breakfast. My go-tos are either scrambled eggs on toast or a peanut butter and jelly toast.
For the moments when I don't have time for lunch, I tend to bring a snack with me such as fruits, chips or biscuits. I tend to prepare this the day before or in the morning.
I'm actually a really forgetful person. So instead of forgetting to pack up some food containers with me, I usually put a handful of muesli and granola bars in my bag. This way, I don't have to worry about them getting spoiled, and I also have taken the habits of snacking on them whenever I get hungry, and this helps me last till lunch or dinner. Not to stress you out or anything. It's expected that we will spend more time focused on uni-related tasks. Even as a big foodie myself, I usually avoid cooking or even thinking about making food because of all the money I need to spend on the ingredients, all the time I need to cook, and most importantly, all the effort I have to put through for cleaning up afterwards.
That's why we are focusing on what we all like. Budget-friendly, relatively easy, yummy dishes.
So we're going to be making a Greek yogurt breakfast bowl and the very basic avocado toast. You can alternate between these dishes or even have them both in the morning if you're feeling extra hungry.
We have chosen these 2 dishes as they are highly customizable and do not really require any culinary skills. The recipes for these 2 dishes will be linked in the resources section below.
We are now joined with Adrienne from the Organic Food Co-op to provide insight into organic and sustainable food.
My name is Adrienne, and I'm the CEO of the Broadway Food Co-op at UTS, and we provide sustainably sourced organic food to UTS staff and students and the Ultimo community.
What is the Organic Food Co-op?
It was started by the Environment Officer of the Student Association about a dozen years ago, as a cart at first, and then in a quiet space that no one else was interested in using. And it was to provide healthy, organic, not necessarily organic at the time, but healthy, sustainable food for staff and students at a price that they could afford. Because at the time, before it became trendy to provide organic food, it was quite an expensive option. And it was something different for students other than fast food and the sort of foods that are available in the Ultimo area. And that's kind of what we're still providing today. Although we've gone, everything now is organic. We try to source in Australia as much as possible to lower our carbon footprint. But a lot of the time, what we're providing is information. People want to know, what does it mean by organic? Is it just a trendy word, or is there some sort of value behind that word? How does it coincide with sustainability? What can they do at home? And sometimes just, how do I create a meal from this food source? If you've never made, I don't know, couscous before. Sometimes just a little, assistance, a recipe, or even just trying it out. That way you haven't purchased $10 worth of couscous with no idea how to provide it. You've made it once, it was awful, and it's stuck in the back of your cupboard for the next 4 years until you graduate and throw it out. So a lot of the time it's information rather than food that we're providing, and we're more than happy to do that.
What is the importance of purchasing organic, sustainable food?
Organics is one of the steps to sustainability. Sustainability is we're not using up more resources than the planet can provide. After all, there is no planet B that we can just move to once we're finished here. The Broadway Food Co-op provides information as well as the organically grown food in order to be a part of the UTS sustainability practices that are taught in almost every lesson.
For students that are listening to this podcast, how could they get involved in the Broadway Food Co-op?
Well, we're always looking for volunteers. At the moment, it's just myself and one other person. You could do your projects through us. We've had business students doing their end projects with us based on pricing, based on marketing. We've had design students doing their projects with us based on logos and marketing campaigns and so on. So we're certainly there for you. But yeah, any way at all. I mean, if you have ideas, we have market days. We join in the open days, of course. We have stalls where we're promoting sustainability and organic foods. We always need help with those. So anything you can think of, we're more than happy to take on board.
Any final words that you'd like to give us?
Only that we're here as a suggestion, that's all. We certainly wouldn't want anyone to give up fast foods altogether. Every member of the Broadway Food Co-op has always been a big fan of Uni Brothers chips, just like anyone else is. But this is an alternative, that's all. Come in and see us and try out something new and different just once. You never know. You may like it. But yeah, we're just there as part of the diverse mix, if you will. We have dry foods, we have drinks, we have snack foods, and we have lots and lots of information. And we have a lot of tea too. Organics have always been big on tea, so come down and have a cup of tea if nothing else.
Now we'll be talking to Tyler Key, who is a UTS Associate Lecturer and Personal Trainer, about the importance of regular eating patterns and eating in moderation.
Hi, my name's Tyler. I'm an Associate Lecturer at UTS in the Faculty of Transdisciplinary Innovation. I'm also a personal trainer. So I was a student at UTS, and while I was a student, I coached people at the gym. So mainly kind of working on different exercise and stuff like that, but nutrition plays a big part of that as well.
What is the bare minimum to sustain a healthy diet as a uni student?
The bare minimum, it's very individualized. So depending on each person and how active you are, you're going to need a different amount of food. And it works best, like everyone's individualized, right? So everyone has their bare minimum that they need to get. The bare minimum would be, I would say, if you had to kind of put a frame around it, would be at least trying to get 2 good meals a day. It's really kind of what works for you.
As a personal trainer, what are the biggest problem areas you have identified in uni students?
Uni students are usually pretty busy, so they're usually studying as well as working, and so just the lack of time to kind of plan and prepare and figure out what it is they need to eat or kind of like how much exercise they need to get in can be really tricky. And then the flip side of that is because you are studying as well as working, usually just money and like trying to find cheap, easy meals to make at the same time.
So we did go over in this episode how some students skip food because they can't be bothered making their own food or like buying ingredients that are healthy but still cheap.
Yeah.
So what would be your top advice concerning this?
The first kind of step is to kind of figure out what it is you like and you actually like eating. And again, people are different. They're going to all like different sorts of things. But the kind of best way to think about it is you've got to explore and kind of figure out what is cheap at your supermarket. So, and depending on what it is, what sort of meal you're kind of looking for, right? So like chicken breast is always super cheap and quick and easy to prepare. Frozen vegetables, everyone's like, oh, but they're frozen. That doesn't matter. Like they are prepared and they're going to give you the nutrients that you need for your body to work well so that you can study better. Stuff like Greek yogurt is always great. If you're plant-based, any of your legumes and beans, always making sure you're including those. It's really trying to understand what it is that you like eating and what is quick and easy to prepare, and then just going and planning that and getting it done.
And just going off on the lack of time, I personally do struggle with the morning. So do you have anything about the importance of breakfast and why we need to prioritize it?
The main reason that breakfast is important is coming back to being consistent. So a lot of people, not just students, kind of skip breakfast. They might have a small snack or something at lunch because they're really busy at work or studying. And then it gets to after work or after, like at the end of the day, and they're just starving, and they end up just like devouring like a whole packet of chips and a whole block of chocolate and ending up feeling not great. The reason breakfast is important is more so for consistency. So if you're consistent with your meals on a daily basis, your energy levels are going to be good throughout the day, and you'll be able to have the energy you need to do the work or study or whatever it is you need to do. And that consistency allows you on a day-to-day basis just to be set up for your day. It's like having your morning routine.
For something quick and easy, what do you think will be like the go-to like snack or food that we should go to?
For snack, thinking about how can you add more of the good stuff. So everyone's like, we need to like avoid chocolate, avoid crisps and stuff like that. So it's like, all right, well, rather than thinking about taking stuff away, how can you just increase the amount of vegetables and fruit that you're having? So green beans, sugar snap peas, cherry tomatoes, carrots are like my favorites. You can combo those with dips and stuff like that, just to make it a bit more exciting. And then again, any of your like standard fruits, berries, apples, oranges, citrus fruits are all fantastic, quick and easy on the go. One thing that is important to kind of keep your energy levels up and just stay feeling satisfied is getting protein as well. So that's where the Chobani yogurts are fantastic, quick and easy, hits a lot of the nutritional areas that you would need to get.
Is there some food that is specifically effective for like studying and helping us focus during classes?
I think a lot of the time people come to the mindset that this specific food is going to help you think better and do something like that, but it's no real specific food that's going to do that. It's more about just having balanced nutrition throughout the day and in your life. In terms of studying and kind of getting the energy you need, again, like my favorite would be like the baked pea crisps. They're like super yummy, easy to snack on. Dark chocolate, rather than getting you like really sugar loaded milk chocolate. Dark chocolate is awesome and kind of hits that sugar fix that you need. And then nuts are good, but in moderation. If you've ever looked at the serving size of nuts and compared to what you actually grab, actually not that much. They're really energy dense, so you don't need that many.
If you could give any student just 3 tips on how to like maintain a healthy diet and just stay motivated throughout the day, what would those 3 tips be?
You can literally sum up good nutrition in like one sentence. And that would be eat mostly plants and fruit, have protein with each meal, and eat to moderation. One of the big things that I see students do is, and actually just people in general, is like they say foods are good or bad. So foods don't actually have any morals. We're just saying that they're good or bad. And what that means is that when you say, oh, chocolate's bad for me, but chocolate's great, right? And if you say chocolate's bad and then you eat it, you feel bad. So rethinking about how you think about your food, where it's like, it's not that it's just good or bad, it's just like, I have to eat some foods in moderation, and that's okay. Actually paying attention to when you're eating. A lot of students, because you're trying to do a million things at once and like you're snacking while you're working on something, my kind of top tip for that is actually, rather than snacking while you're eating, just take 5 minutes, go eat a snack, pay attention to what you're eating. And the reason for that is when you're eating while you're doing something, your brain actually isn't paying attention to the digestion of your food. And so you'll end up finishing a whole bag of chips and you'll be like, oh, I'm still hungry. Whereas if you took a 5-minute break, ate some chips, enjoyed them, paid attention to it, you probably wouldn't eat the whole bag. So yeah, eat mindfully, pay attention to your food as you eat it. Oh, and probably last thing, you're going to make mistakes with food at uni, whatever it is. And so rather than thinking you have to get this right every single day, just focusing on getting a little bit better every day and just being self-compassionate about however it is your day went, and just be like, tomorrow's a new day, we'll get back on it.
Thanks for sticking to the end of this podcast about breakfast. A quick summary.
Have an eating routine to ensure you have enough energy to last you throughout the whole day.
Foods do not have morals, so they are not inherently good or bad. Just be sure to have them in moderation.
And finally, diversify your diet, which may include trying out organic and sustainable foods.
Talk to you all in our next podcast.
Until then, stay fed.